And now, Detailing Success and PNS Double Black present the Renny Doyle Podcast, a podcast for blue-collar entrepreneurs. Hosted by the detailer of Air Force One and founder of both Detailing Success and the Detail Mafia, Renny Doyle.
What's up, man?
There you go. The sun is up. I've been up for a while. There we go. Switching things around here. And ready to go.
Yeah, me too. I got up early today and did some reading and messed around, with dogs and all that good stuff, and got the morning going. And it's sun's out, and it's going to start getting warmer and warmer in mid 60s by this weekend. So,
we're supposed to hit 80 degrees here on Sunday.
Wow. Yeah, big change from what we've been having. But hey, soon enough we'll be griping about it's too warm. So we're always in. SoCal's always got this warming, sometime in April, we always hit like ultra high, just once, or early May. And then it goes back to being cool, June gloom. You guys get the June gloom down there, or the.
Oh yeah. Well, they call it, we get it in May. So May gray, June gloom.
Yeah. Yeah.
They got to have a label for everything.
Yeah. That's exactly it. June gloom. That was a real thing. I remember, as a kid, start getting warm. We get that first big warm spot. It's always warm in Southern California, but we'd get hot, uncomfortably hot. And then all of a sudden the June gloom would come in, and the moisture, and, you'd have dew all over the thing. And anyway, we're headed for that. So,
Yep.
A wise guy, when I was really young, I had a gentleman that was in his 80s that lived near me. One of the most interesting people I've ever met in my life. And he says, don't build your life around the weather. Just go out and do it. And, this is when I was in college, so up in Idaho, and he would walk every single day, no matter what. You'd see it out there in near blizzard, and he'd be out there for his walks, and he wouldn't do just one a day. He'd do several a day. And he just said, you can't plan your life around the weather. Just enjoy it. So I've always kind of had that attitude.
Yeah. Well, I have to be honest, though. I think some of us detailers sometimes, especially the mobile ones, do have to do some planning around the weather.
Oh yeah, we do. Yeah. Well, especially when you're newer, you got to figure out, what's gonna still bring people in, right? So.
Yeah. So I've mobile detailed in the rain before.
Oh yeah.
It's not easy.
Yeah. No. I got poor Southern California. When we were in Idaho, we used to take them when this one storm came through, and it was during a really busy time during the wintertime. We had several jets to get clean. Well, one of them, they couldn't get it into a hangar. So here it is, like 30 below zero, and we have to do a wipe and vac and clean this. And it had some issues. The interior of the plane had some issues, and it was a big plane. It's Gulfstream. We had to actually I took the microwave out of our shop and put it in our truck. And we were taking and wetting down our towels, and then putting our towels in the microwave to warm them, wiping the interior down, then wiping with a dry towel, because it was so frozen that if you didn't warm your towels out and you just spray it, everything just froze to the towel right then and there. Even inside the plane with the ground, the APU going and powered up and the heat going, it was just so cold, that we had to warm our towels up. So we've gone to those extremes before. So, hey, so today, developing a thankful attitude, or even a grateful, thankful, grateful, either way. And I've included both in here, as many people feel that you can see a person from a mile away that usually has a very organic and true thankful attitude. And a lot of times we think, oh, this person is really nice. Some of the most powerful people I've met have a really thankful attitude, but they're not weak. Yeah, they're very strong individuals, and they've taken it on the cheek. They'll get hit. I kind of consider myself that way. I don't know about you, Chris, how you view yourself, but when I was a kid, I was naturally friendly and very natural. Even though I had kind of a challenging situation, my natural attitude was to be thankful, to be grateful, because in reality, life and business, it's all wear and tear. We're all gonna be exposed to things that are going to take and kind of challenge us, and can at times even take and really challenge our persona and our core, and it's, how fast we come back from that. Does that make sense? So,
Yep.
We had a really busy, like, 10 days. And when I mean busy, just a lot going on, right? I started a new series, and I'm going to start a new one this week. And we're just going to jump into things. Some will be one video, some will this one, the wool series we went over. If you haven't seen it, over on Instagram, not sure if we have it on Facebook yet, but or excuse me, on YouTube yet.
Not yet. I'm getting there.
Okay, so I did a whole series on wool pads, all my favorite wool pads from the major manufacturers. Some of them are really close, and so and something that I like to cover on that. A lot of people don't realize that, you got to be fair to everybody. And so you got two like pads. I'm not going to throw one in front of the bus and the other not. Is that I was very fair to both manufacturers that I really care for. I've had a long-term relationship with both of them. And so some people were asking me, aren't those the same in one pad? And yeah, no. There's fan base for one company, there's a fan base for the other. And so while they're very similar pads, I wanted to be fair. So to be clear on that, we're doing a lot of new lives and reels coming out this week. We had a huge week with P&S Double Black. Is we came up with 3 new products. One of them is outside of our industry, kind of Triple S. It's going to be for the people that are doing film. It's pretty big.
I guess that actually makes 4 new products then.
Well, 4 new products.
Yeah, because the fragrances.
The fragrance line too. I didn't even think of that. And so, man, just a big week, right? We get the fragrances, we get Triple S for the film industry. We get Swift, which is really cool because this is I wish I would have had this product back when we operated shops, because it's a perfect interior maintenance where it's going to clean and shine, or when you get done with the car and it doesn't look quite crisp enough, and maybe the people don't want a traditional dressing, this is going to be it. It does have UV protection in it. So Swift, we're really excited about. And then something that we've been pushing for a long time is Inspiration Defender. And so it's a sprayable SiO2 protectant. It's a standalone protectant. It's 6 to 12 months of life expectancy, very high durability. We had it lab tested, so it's an independent lab test that's age tested it. It's going to take its acid resistance, it's going to strengthen a coating, its ability, pretty much any ceramic coating. We didn't test all of them because there's so many of them now, but the main brands, we went out and tested the product on our brands and in other brands, and you're talking somewhere in the area of 300% increase in acid, standing up to acid. So something that, Dave hit it out of the park on all of these. The scents are pretty cool. We've got a bead maker scent now that we've been dying for a long time. So huge week, man. We also had last week, at the end of the week, a big meeting for something that's coming later in the summer. So we just got so much cool stuff going on. So, hey, let's get down to it, and let's take in.
Hold on real quick, though.
Okay.
So, we're getting all these messages, and I might as well just come out and say it. It's your birthday today, so we gotta wish you a happy birthday.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's pretty cool. This is amazing. I've hit every football number I ever had as a kid. As a young adult. And then so some. I hit number 5. So I remember being number 5 and being 5 years old when I was playing. So I was 5 and I had the number 5. It was kind of exciting. And even though my birthday wasn't in season, it was still cool because I was 5 and number 5, right? Then I was number 7 and I was 7. And then I jumped up to, I was number 20 for a season. So I hit that number 20, right? I hit 48. And then this is my last one, was when I was a linebacker, as number 57. And that number had a lot of special meaning to me because of my mom. But so this is it, number 57. So
there you go.
I'm not a big one on birthdays. There's a long story of some stuff that's gone down. It's different, but I love my birthday. I don't dread my birthday. I'm not one of those that dread the number. I'm always proud of my my daughters asked me last year, wow, 3 years away from 60, how's that feel? And I said, it feels awesome. I'm still alive. I'm here. I'm doing it. I'm getting bigger and better at what I enjoy. I'm enjoying life more. I think that's exactly what we're supposed to do. What do you these people that dread it? It's just Steve Harvey. I always say it, holds the goal, and that dude's a pretty wise dude. I love watching him, but you're not going to turn back the clock. So I don't just accept it. God, I love it. I mean, I know it sounds weird, but
you got to embrace it, right?
Yeah. It's more than that for me. It's just, I try to keep myself active. I'm going to go over as soon as we're done here and lift. And, there's just, you make the best out of everything. And it's not even make the best out of it bad. It's making the best out of the best. Is that, I'm alive and I've got these amazing people in my life. And I've got these amazing souls with, my dog and horses. And I've got these amazing passions that I love and amazing businesses. And, I can keep going down the list of what's amazing. And the journey just keeps going, wow, but, it's my bucket list keeps getting longer and the years keep getting shorter. That's the only problem is that I've got more to do and I'm starting to calculate it out. And it's going to be pretty much, unless I go over to the Fun Factor full time, I'm not going to be able to get them. So it's prioritizing them now.
I always find it interesting. I look back and I think about, because I can remember my parents being the age I am now. Right. Yeah. And I look back at that and I go, man, I don't feel like I'm that old, but back then I thought they were really old.
Well, and I think, they say now, the 50's the new, 30 or whatever. Nah, everybody's felt that way. I mean, are we doing things that our parents didn't do? I don't know. I don't know. My mom was pretty youthful up until the time she passed away. My dad, I've really gotten to know him the last 3 years. He's 30 years older than me and just killing it, still going after life. And I don't know. I just, who cares? It's just go live a life and make it the best life you can and enjoy every second of it, that's it. But thank you for all the birthday wishes. I definitely appreciate it. And, excited for a fun day and going to put myself around everything I love, and everybody I love. So I wish I could see more people, today, cause it's such a fun time to be around and build up some cool memories. So, hey, life gets us all down at times, it's not how down, it's how deep you go and how long you go that will dictate the long-term effects of having an opposite of a thankful attitude. Is I really believe that, we can't let ourselves get into our heads. We're the biggest creator of problems. I just did a Mafia message yesterday to the group, is that a lot of times what we think, it starts to manifest and it starts to happen. And, if listen, we're all going to take and get into times where times are a little rougher, not as easy as they normally are, whether that's a challenge in a relationship, a health issue, losing somebody important to you, losing a soul that's close to you. That's part of life and it's part of the journey, unfortunately. But fortunately is, I think we're given this God-given power to take and straighten it out in our heads. But some people just, I believe that everybody can, is that some people just don't have the tools. And that's, we're going to talk a little bit about that today. It's my life certainly had its rough spots. I won't go into depth on that right now, but, I certainly didn't have an average upbringing. I had some real challenges. A lot of people were far worse than me, especially as I gotten, older and realized the challenges that I had were pretty minuscule in comparison to what, other people went through. And so, we're so blessed in this country and so many countries around the world to be just born where we were. There's a lot of rough neighborhoods on this globe. And, for whatever reason, God saw it, is that I was put in a pretty amazing area. And even those challenges is that, even the challenges that I did face, as a youngster, as a kid, really born right into those challenges, right? is that I realized at a really young age that, Jesus, I've got to take and pull myself out of this. There's nobody that's going to help me. I mean, there's a situation with my mom and grandma that's good, and there's a situation that's not. And I've just got to look at it for face value and start pulling myself out. So self-admitting that it's like on search and rescue is sometimes is that, I've put myself into situations to where I unexpectedly had to spend the night in the woods. And it was just accepting, okay, hold on, here I am, not going to get out tonight, not really prepared for it, but, here's what I got to do. And I start looking at it, and those kind of experiences really made me stronger. But I realized that a lot of people don't challenge themselves, especially in this day. I say that, but yet, I live in a wilderness area, a great area in Southern California, small wilderness compared to where we lived in Idaho, but it's still a wilderness, mountainous area. And I want to tell you, youthful people my age, older, younger, are out more right now than I've ever seen in my life. They're camping more, they're overlanding more. And for me, it's pretty cool to see it. And so in the early days of moving from a victim mentality to a victorious mentality, that changed everything. And it was more of a mindset in a decision than it was anything else. I didn't have anybody say, look, nobody's going to get you out of this but yourself. Even at a young age, I kind of had to admit that to myself. But here's the thing, is all the way through my journey of life, all the way up, today being a birthday, there's times where I have my pity parties. And I get upset, and I let mainly myself into my head and occasionally other people into my head. But now it's pretty short term. In the part of letting others into my head, that's getting smaller and smaller. Now, that doesn't mean I'm shutting people out. It means I'm getting wise, and my circle's smaller. And also, when I see the bullshit, is that my barriers, I've set up barriers in my own life, mental barriers, to where when I see that kind of bullshit going on with people, and I read people, because most of them are alike, you're going to be able to see them from a mile away. You're going to be able to see it, smell it, taste it, everything else. As soon as I do that, is that I don't abandon the person. I just don't get close to that person. Is that I just don't let them into my world.
Change your approach with them.
Well, I do, and again, and I've also found that, there's a small circle of people that I bring into my closest and dearest challenges, because what will happen is people will take and use that. It's just like a martial art. They're going to take what you've shared with them in confidence and start using it against you as a weapon. And that's just, you got to be careful with that. So, life leaves open wounds, clean the wound, treat the wound, and suture the wound. Is that I don't care how young you, there's no excuse. When my struggles were going on, I remember, growing up tough and being in a situation, getting teased. And I had to take myself out of the situation, and then I had to get tough in some ways. And I had to fight off some things. And I mean, physically fight it off. Life gets bumpy. Look for the smoother roads. A lot of times people will tell you, oh man, you're just in the bumpy part. Just go through it. No, man. It's don't go through it. Is look for mentors and coaches. If you're really struggling with things, therapists, all these different things to get you off that damn bumpy road. Is that there's no need to beat the crap out of yourself. Is that you need to take and get healthy in all ways as soon as possible. Now, sometimes you're just stuck on that road. Is life will throw things at you, and there's no right or left. Is you've got to go through these things. Losses, the loss of souls is probably one of the toughest things that I've experienced. And though, again, it's part of life. Can you just shrug it off? Gosh, no. The emotional toll on losing someone close to you is tough, whether that be, a parent, a sibling, a good friend, maybe a child. That's something I can't relate to. I've lost several dogs now in my life. That was very traumatic to me because I'm so close to them. But you know what? It's also the journey. And it's learning to live in those moments. And the faster and quicker, no matter what age you're at, is that you accept that moment for right now. Is that I don't look, I look out in the horizon for things I'm excited to do, but I live in today. I live in the moment. And now on bad days where I had a tough day the other day, a couple of us did, is that, what I do is I turn myself inward, and it's basically like a garbage disposal. Is I throw everything, I just process everything, I write it down. This is really important. I write down the bullshit, and I write down the goodness of my life that day. And all the bullshit goes into the garbage disposal, and I only look at that list. And what I do is I take that good list and I rewrite it down on a piece of paper. Then I take the piece of paper that had all the bad stuff and good stuff, and I crumble it up and I throw it away. I dispose of it. Then what I do is I set an alarm, and every 15, 20 minutes, I go down that list of things I'm so fortunate and so happy about. And you know what? Things get easier. Yeah. And so a lot of this is controlling yourself.
Well, I can't help but think some of this message is for me today, because, I had a little bit of a rough weekend, but a rougher Monday. And, but you're absolutely right. And one of the things that helps me, as weird as it sounds, is like Monday, you told me, oh, go take a little break, whatever it is. I feel better when I'm doing things, when I'm productive, when I'm making things happen. And, so if I can get back to just put my head down and focus on those things and make things happen, that's what helps me feel better inside too.
That's awesome. Well, here's the amazing thing. You just said something, when you're struggling on things and people mention it, it's like when you go to church sometimes, and sometimes the pastor will give a message, right? The sermon, and you're like, oh my gosh, how do you know? Is because I believe that's how faith in the universe, or whatever you want to do it. I think that we're sent the right energy. And I know that's I used to think when people say that, oh, person's got, weird energy. I was like, what the hell does that mean? Ooh, no, man. As you get older, it's true. And if you want to see, I don't know if I've ever told this story before, but you want to see a good judge of character. I've had 2 dogs in my life that were extremely good at picking up people that had some evil in them. Horses are really good at that. If you want to see a horse pick up on somebody's outlook, is that there is energy. And a lot of times we as humans, some people are born with, situations where they've got, a good capacity to pick up on people's, intentions or energy, whatever you want to call it. And then some have to develop it. I was one that kind of in the middle. I had some natural, because of how and where I grew up. I think it was a learned skill real quickly because I had to. But the other thing is, Chris, is that you say that is that when you're close to people, they might be going through the same thing, and you guys are sharing this. This topic has been on the books for a while, right? And so, but here you've got that feeling, oh wow, it might be directed. No, it's it's just the way the universe works.
Yep.
And it's each other kind of picking up on what the other person needs. And that's what's cool when you're around people that you trust and that aren't going to stab you in the back, is that energy is free. It's exchanged, man. As simple as that. And so many times that, I think a lot of people, especially entrepreneurs, I've said this many times, is that, my side gig of what I've done for the last 30 plus years, is I've seen a lot of what humans do to humans. It's humans are terrible. This earth, this entire, sector of animals, the human being, is that, we bring war on one another. We damage each other, we kill each other, we attack each other, we, all these different things. And I've seen that side of it, and that hasn't, I guess we learned as youth, is talking among ourselves when we saw these things. And there's stuff that comes out that's never going to go away. But I have several friends, that I talk to. Some are military, some are search and rescue, some are fire, some are police, they're law enforcement, all these different aspects. A couple good friends that are, ER, a physician, surgeon, another good friend that's an ER, RN. And so there's way to kind of debrief ourselves, that stuff, because I've had so many channels to kind of download all that information, really hasn't deeply affected my life too much, as in meaning that the after effects of it. Now, what's really got to me is the stresses of being a dad and a husband, and mainly the toughness of running businesses, of being an entrepreneur during all that, especially a blue collar entrepreneur. Those stresses really, I allowed those to get in and really kind of harden me a little bit and tough me up. And I wish I wouldn't have done that. I wish I would have stayed the free flow young individual and not overthought a lot of this, and really didn't put, a tremendous amount of pressure on myself. I took and overburdened myself with demands and expectations, and that causes injury. So learn to accept the challenging times, even the toughest situations. You need the right outlook. And, it's again, there's things I haven't been through in life, and I'm so thankful I haven't, but I've witnessed it, firsthand with other people. And you see the people that, we've got, I'm not even going to go there. I was going to share a story, but I won't. But, I see people that have gone through the worst things that you can imagine, of losing a child, and it crushes them. They'll never be the same. But, it's amazing to see that some of them, I'm thinking of two friends, is that one set of parents, it's basically destroyed their entire life. It's destroyed them. It's over. Life as they know it, it's gone. And then another set of friends of ours that have dug in deep with each other in their faith. And, you can see the pain on both sets, but the way that each other handled it was completely different. And I'm completely speaking out of church here, because I have no clue on that would be, to me, Chris, you're a dad. I don't think for any parent, even as your kids get to be adults, there's nothing worse. Like, that'd be the worst. I mean, I can't even imagine it. Right.
Yeah, no, that's the one challenge I definitely don't want in life.
No, me too. And
I could think of a million other challenges, if I have to have them, I'll take them. But man, that one, forget it.
No, yeah, it's me too. And it's, Diane and I just had the conversation, I'm 4 years effective today for 2 weeks. I'm 3 years older than her. And then now I'm back to being 4 years older than her today. So I always tease her. Yeah, I'm only 3 years older. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're 4 years older, So today I go back to being 4 years older than her. But for a short time, there's only 3 years difference. But, I was telling her, guys don't live as long as females traditionally. And I'm already older than her. And then, some of the things that I've, the demands of my body, that I've done, probably going to see me, I'm going to probably meet my maker earlier than her. And, to think about that is that, I don't dwell on it, right? I do want to be the first. I don't want to live life, but I don't want Diane to hurt either, And so, we're a different couple, because she's experienced a lot, being law enforcement and doing, search and rescue and military. She's gotten a different outset too. So here's a really weird thing I want to share. This is kind of, some people will probably, I'm going to give a couple examples. Is, every dark cloud has got a silver lining. We've heard that most of our lives, right?
Yep.
Some will even have a gold lining. It's going to be some of these challenges, dark times, are even going to have a gold lining. It's all in that thick skull of ours, is that you got to turn things around on themselves. Is, a good illustration of this is that when I was a kid, is my nightmare came true, is that I had everybody knew probably in fourth grade, man, that something was not right with me. Is I was a normal kid, but I was really struggling in school. And so, this was in a day to where they just didn't know what ADD was. I was accused of having a lot of learning disabilities. Retardation was one of them. It was a horrible, horrible time frame in my life, because the other kids knew I was getting pulled out of class for testing. But yet is that I get the right Mrs. Johnson. I get the right teacher. Here was, I got beat up. I got jumped. When I got put into a special ed class, 90% of who I called my friends had nothing to do with me for that year. it was a kid's nightmare. I mean, it was just, it was awful. But yet I knew somehow, and I really feel God put the right people into my life, is that I'd come through it, and I just had to stay happy. I'd had enough, with not having a dad and being teased about that and being poor and having to start working when I was super young. I was in that special ed class. I was tested for it in 4th and 5th grade. I was put into it in 6th grade, and I was out of it by 7th grade. But the thing that worked out really well for this is I was already working by this time. I mean, believe it or not, I'd been mowing lawns and doing, just landscaping and cleanup stuff since I was about 7 or 8 years old. And so what had happened is the people that were doing that, they saw the value. They saw I was a really hard worker. They saw that I was engaging. I had a personality. But Mrs. Johnson came in, and she really saw a value. And here's what's weird is I've always been crazy about the mountains. I've lived in the mountains for 30 something years. Is her and her husband, this is a different time frame. You couldn't imagine this happening now. But they had a young nephew that lived next to them, and they lived here in the San Bernardino Mountains. And they used to take me on some weekends, and I'd go up and stay with them and stay with their nephew, and we'd run around the mountains for an entire weekend. That's where silver lining came in. The other thing in the gold lining is that my situation of, not having a father figure, of having a grandma, of having a mom, of us being on food stamps and welfare, and the embarrassment of people finding that out, everything else went on, is it made me build up my personality. It also made me realize that different people have everybody's going through a struggle every day. And it's made me slow down on being judgmental on people going through those struggles. Matter of fact, I think I've got a soft spot for people going through struggles because I myself went through so many when I was young. Now, here's the other good thing is that literally by the time I was a teenager, is that I'm talking 13, I quit on something one time. One time I quit on it. And it was such a bitter taste, and I paid such a dear price, is right then by the time, before I was 14 years old, is that I learned to take and pick myself up. I learned that the opinions of others on me could not have a bearing on how I felt about myself. And I also learned the lesson of never quitting. And so how amazing was that to learn those lessons that were silver and gold lining clouds in a dark time. And so I've always looked at that exactly that way, is that was blessings of being put in that class, of meeting that teacher, of getting teased, I got hit over the head with a baseball bat. It was unreal to think the challenges I went through, but it was a very, very, very short time because I had to turn inward. I had to take and learn to express myself. And so did that take a strong personality? Yeah, it did. Not everybody's going to be there, but there's help for people that aren't that strong personality. The key factor is realizing when you're going somewhere and you don't have a thankful attitude and it's going down the drain, because every year that you travel through this life that you're not grateful and you're not thankful, is you're going to get bitter. And you've got to reverse that as soon as you can. And there's all kinds of situations that will help you. My God, reach out to me if you're in that situation. I would love to take and assist you and kind of point you in the right direction. I myself, if these words aren't enough, I probably can't help you more than that. But I can send you in the direction that can. I can take and put you in contact with people. I can tell you my own struggles and what I've done even later in life to make sure that I keep my mind healthy, my spirit healthy, and my outlook healthy. It's so important because then you're thankful.
My son,
you're grateful.
My son has ADHD, and when he was younger, it was more of a struggle for him. It's as he gets older, he's about to turn 16 this summer. It becomes less of an issue for him. But one of the things that we've done as a family is, we kind of embraced it a little bit too, but we have a little bit more fun with it. We joke around with it. We kind of poke fun at it. We have fun with him. He has fun with us. And instead of it becoming this thing that, he's ashamed of or whatever, we just realize it's just, one of his little things about him, that we all have different things about us. And we just have fun with it instead,
Chris,
So,
that's exactly what we did. My family pokes fun at me all the time still. I don't take offense to it at all because it's true. I mean, look, squirrel, is absolutely, I'm going to have a tattoo done that's ADHD, like the ACDC. It says, back to, and it says, oh, look, a squirrel, it's because, I could go off topic and then try to get reel myself back in. But again, a lot of people make fun of that about not just me, about anybody that's like that, about your son. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because, honestly, so many of the multi millionaires and the billionaires I've met have got ADD or ADHD. I can't tell you how many of them is that. And I think the reason why is because it's like your son's case. We got to figure out things a different way. You'll see me even is that I struggle, is that, I'll take and remember, it's not memory loss, it's nothing like that, is that it's just that AD and what's turned into ADHD as I've gotten older is that, I'll be lost for words in an instant. I'm saying something and then the word that I was going to use, I don't remember how to say it, and then I'm alphabetically dyslexic. That really freaking helps. I mean, thanks, really appreciate that. That was just, let's add a little more confusion to the whole thing. But again, I think your outlook is that you have fun with it and, you take and you just make the best of a situation, so,
real quick, I got a couple of good comments here from some guys. I wanted to share them because I think they're pretty good. Pristine Auto Detailing. I need to connect the business with a face and a name, but a diamond light does shine brighter with a black background, darkness. So I like that. And then Gabriel Bremer, he's a great guy. He's a huge fan. There's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in.
I love that.
Yeah,
there is. And we're cracked. Listen, we're all flawed in some way. There's not a perfect person. And you can meet the most beautiful person, my wife. And she's got her issues, even though she's the most beautiful thing in existence in the world to me, is that she's got her issues. She just doesn't admit that I'm always right. I mean, that's one of the issues she's got. So listen,
my wife has the same.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? So, it's, but it's truly, I mean, she's, my kids, I mean, my kids they're the most beautiful kids that were ever born. But they've got their flaws, and our youngest daughter, we've had an opportunity to be really close, through the years, and she's just the most beautiful thing that walks the earth. But she's got her challenges, right? We all do. But here's some things I've witnessed, some things that I've had to learn. Some the easy way through mentors and coaches, teachers. Were a big part of this, even some therapists. I'll never forget is that I went in for an interview I had to have a psych review. We're going into during when all the wars were going, and I was running something. I don't know if I was running one of the weapons training, but they sent us through a psych, and they asked us different questions, and they keyed in on that I really love animals and I really love dogs, and they just couldn't get over that I wouldn't shoot a dog. I've been in situations to where most time I've never had to do anything with a dog other than reason with it. And I've never gotten bitten by the dog. A couple times I had to pepper spray them to get through it, but I've never had to damage a dog, And so it was funny that they picked up on that. And at first they thought something was wrong with me. And I said, no, something's wrong with you. Anybody that's going to take and damage an animal without trying not to me, that's reverse. And I remember the psych doctor writing something down. I said, what'd you write down? He goes, that's just a note for me. He says, that was a good saying. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Here's this ADHD kid that, just taught a therapist something. But, here's the thing that I've really witnessed in my own life and other people's life is don't overexpect. When you hold people to your own standards, especially who you are, and if you hold them to your own standards, your own beliefs, and your own drive, 99% of the time, you're going to fail. They're going to fail you. Is that if you're a hard-driven person, I am, and I told my daughter this just days ago, is that look at, how you grew up and how I grew up was completely different. And my expectation and boundaries are probably hardline, compared to what your life has witnessed. You've got to always look at things from my perspective. I've always got to look at things from your perspective. And then somewhere in there, we've got to massage that to work it out. Right. Others are really hard to find that are going to meet your energy. Straight out. The other thing is, if you own the business, there's going to be a 1% that will take and meet that energy. It's hard to find those, but you can find them. You also have to be patient, with yourself and with others. Is that you can't just take in and expect now. Most of the time we're moving so quickly, and I'm really guilty of this. We're moving so quickly in our life and our business, is that we set an expectation down. We're wondering why that expectation isn't met. And then I'll go back and go, oh my God, I didn't share my intent or what I wanted. Is I'm so moving so quickly, is I just thought they were mind readers and read my mind exactly how I wanted it done. And I think a lot of us, probably many of you, most of you that are listening or watching this right now, can relate to that. Stop it. You can hold yourself to that, but it's really dangerous to even hold yourself to that. You got to learn to relax a little bit. That's why I always wish, man, weed's legalized now. One of these days, when I don't have to test for anything, I have no responsibility, I'm getting high, because I think more people need to smoke weed. I'm going to go Joe Rogan right now, right?
Just a little less at the traffic lights. That's all. That's all I ask.
No. Yeah, not while you drive, and I don't want to smell that shit. Not when you're going into a store and stuff like that. But I always told my kids that, hey, so if you're going to do something, you're going to relax. You know, I've got a good cousin of mine that, he does it probably 2 or 3 times a week. Just as a way to relax. But you got to, kind of methodically. I mean, we're gonna pretend for a second is that you almost, when you're dealing with others, if you're really high strung like I am, you also got to take and imagine yourself smoking a bowl full and calm down, because we are so hard driven. I'm this way with Diane. Diane and I are both of us, very high standards, very expecting. And I can't imagine being our kids. Right. But, as I aged, I calmed down. You've got to do that. You've got to take it, stop, drop, and roll with your staff. You've got to be real and bring them up, not beat them down. That's really important. Is that people, when you're high energy, high expectations, expecting a lot out of life, you're all these things I just said, plus a lot more. You got to learn to control that. And you've got to learn to control it within you too. You can't just take and control it with others. You're going to drive yourself batty crazy at having those high expectations. Now, doesn't mean not to have high expectations. It's just be cool with it when you don't hit your mark sometimes. I set out. I don't set out. I've got a long-term goal. I've got, goals out for 10 years, 20 years. I've learned that from getting to know my dad late in life, is that, the guy's 30 years older than me, and he hasn't stopped planning his life. Here he is, almost 87. He's just a couple months behind me, of being 30 years older. And he just bought a new house. I mean, who does that? He does. He found a house that he likes and he put an offer in on it. So, I think if you give up at any age, we got 20-year-olds that are already given up in life. You can't do that. So know this too, this is really important, is that everybody's fighting a war in life. The day after, and Chris will remember this, the day after we buried my mom, I had to take off to a trip back to New York, and I had no business going. I really shouldn't have gone on that trip, but it was for the industry. It was to better the industry. And I really felt that I could make an impact with people. And so I decided to go. So I'm getting on the airplane. I'm in no mood. I'm not even in a bad mood. I'm just emotionally wrecked, is that we'd just gone through my mom being in hospice. She had a long illness. She'd really struggled for the last, 10 years. The last 4 or 5 were pretty tough. Right. So all these things are going through my mind. And I remember I'm sitting down, and somebody hit me with their briefcase or their suitcase, putting it up in the overhead. And I just remember giving them a dirty look, like not, I wasn't friendly, didn't say anything, but I wasn't friendly. And the guy, the gentleman, I'll say a gentleman, said this. He goes, "Gosh, I'm very sorry." And I said, "Yeah, you should be, dude. Thanks." I was an ass. I didn't need to say that. I was an ass. So I sat there and I don't want to be going on this trip. I'm kind of angry that I'm going. I wanted to be with my family. My kids were kind of pissed that I went. Diane supported because she saw the bigger picture and mission, as she usually does. But as I'm sitting there, I'm just getting myself in a deeper and deeper anger. I'm emotionally distraught. I'm on the verge of crying. I just want my mom. I just didn't want to be here, and it showed. We went to get off the airplane, and as we're standing up to exit, the gentleman that had hit me with that thing, it was minor, guys. It was nothing. Normally I would have just laughed it off, and we would have made fun of something like that, right? But he looks over at me and he puts his hand on my shoulder and he says, "Listen, I can tell by the look in your eyes, you're really fighting something today. And I just want you to know it's going to get better. Everything's going to be okay. And I'm going to keep you in my prayers." And man, right then and there, I lost it. Here's a complete stranger that knew I was going through a battle. He saw it in me, and he used kindness to mellow me out. And I was trying to hold back. I am now even, as I was trying to hold back the tears and emotions. And I said, "Hey, thank you. I'm sorry I was, rude, and I didn't mean it." And he goes, "It's okay. Pay it forward." And all of us are going through battles every day, and you're going through a really deep one. And I told him I just lost my mom and buried her. And, I've had the opportunity to pay that forward a couple times. And now what I've done is that, every time I get a little road rage, I get pissed at people that can't drive, which is 3/4 of California, is now that I say glass half full. I've said that several times on the show. That is my trigger for mellowing myself out. Don't get upset. Don't raise your blood pressure 1 point. Person's going through it. They're going to drive like they are. You can't control it. Just stay away from them. And it's really changed my life. It really has. Look for the 1%ers as partners, colleagues, and staff. Okay. It's tough. And I've only done it a couple times in my entire career that I found somebody that would meet my energy, cared as much as I did, and really shared a life story of where they wanted to be. But you have to look for those 1%ers. They're out there. Don't accept if you're high driven and you don't need somebody instantly, wait until that 1%er comes along, or build up that 1%er. If you see hope in people, build them up. Be mindful. What's being mindful mean? Again, is that, as you're observant to other people, as you're mindful of other things, this is on the good side and the bad side. Be mindful for kind people and recognize it. Be observant for kind people and recognize it, especially people we work with. On the same token, be mindful and observant of people that are going to take and hurt you, that really they're trying to be close to you, but in the long run, what they're trying to do is put a knife in your back, because it's out there. It's not too often as I don't concentrate on that. But when when the hairs on the back of my neck stand up, and when I start seeing warning signs, I become very observant and really watchful of that individual. Journal your feel goods. Write your feel goods down on a daily basis. Challenges is that, challenges you can take and write down your challenges. But what I've learned in life is what I do is I don't list out in my journal what challenges there were that day. Most of the time, 90% of the time, what I'll just say is I had a pretty tough day today. What really brought me out of it was, and I write down in journal all the feel good things that really brought my attitude and my mindset and back to a mindset of thankfulness. Surround yourself with like people. That's really important. And then the world, set boundaries with yourself, set boundaries with people around you. Let them know how far you're willing to go and what things are just outside of the boundary. And then teach others when you set boundaries, what you're doing is you're setting boundaries with people that teaches them where to go and where not to go with you. And that's okay. A lot of people don't like doing that, but this is, again, self-preservation and making sure that you've got that thankful, grateful attitude. Do amazing things outside of work and family. Do something bigger than you. Volunteer. Is just take and make something a mission for you. It could be something as easy as that, every 60 days you go donate blood. Something it doesn't have to be crazy, but do something that makes you feel good about yourself, and that it shows you that you're doing good things. One of the most important things I did is admit, this is really hard for a lot of people, is admit to yourself in your own crappy moods. Is that announce it, but when I tell Diane, "Hey man, I'm having a bad day," it has nothing to reflect on you. That's not a license to be a jerk. That's just letting her know that, hey, I'm not in a good mood, and it has nothing to do with you. It's okay. She'll say, "Did anything happen?" Sometimes no, sometimes yeah. But, what I've learned to do is if I need to share and get off my chest, I'll do it. If I don't, I just don't bother her with it, is that if it's nothing that's going to matter, it just could be put me in a bad mood, or I just woke up in a crappy mood, then you know what? Just own it internally, but get it out if you can, if you need to. And then don't let crap and bullshit own your mind. You can't. You just can't you got to replace the stuff that's in here, the bad stuff, with good stuff, solid dreams, goals, imagery, what you're thankful for, the people. And then like Chris, he'll get busy. What I usually do is I go and if I'm in something like that, is I got to go do something physical, is go for a walk with the dogs, go out and ride, see the horses, do groundwork with them. It's something with these amazing creatures. They just love us. And how can you be in a bad mood when something's giving you pure love and attention?
Oh, well, that's the easiest fix, is just go play with the dogs.
Isn't it?
I mean, I went outside yesterday and that dog literally made me laugh and giggle out loud out in the backyard.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's that pureness of those, of their souls, and how much they just love us, and they just want to make us happy, and they want to be happy, and they want to play. Is Boomer's, just months away from being 15. And I know I talk about him a lot, put a lot of pictures of him. He's just, he's really important to me right now. I mean, he always has been. But as he's aged, he's gotten more and more important to me for many reasons. But, all he wants to do is be happy, and he wants to see me happy. Matter of fact, if he sees me that I'm if he picks up on my mood, he will move. And what I've learned with him is I've got to go in and give him some loves when I'm in one of those moods, and he'll come back and hang out with me once he knows that, hey, it's okay to be, around you, and he'll actually make me feel better. Make thankfulness an essential part of every hour of every day. Is that when I get in those moods, Chris said that we had kind of a rough Monday, is that Monday night, I just sat down, I journaled, I wrote all the bad crap down, I wrote all the good crap down, I wrote the good crap down again, I threw that piece of paper away. I was awesome. It felt really good. It really worked. Share good happenings with others daily. Is that, so many people, is that, I'll never, on the times and the periods, we've got a very busy, period coming up, is that Chris and I, part of, Double Black, we're all going to be very, very busy for a couple weeks. And I will come home for that trip feeling it. But the thing I don't say is I've learned to not physically tell anybody, man, I'm tired or worn out, because I don't want to tell myself that and get lazy, believe it or not. I want to take and get through it, rest up, and be back in the driver's seat real quick. You don't need ass kissers around you. Is that you need people that are honest friends and going to be honest with you and telling you facts to be facts. You don't need cancer cells around you, people that are just in it for different reasons than yours. Is that, listen, we can all prop each other up, but if you feel that there's people around you that are using you, you need to get rid of that. It's just ass kissers and cancer people are in the same boat to me. Is they're not going to do you any good. Keep the inner circle tight and light. Is that you got to take and know who your tight circle is, and it's not meaning don't be, don't not to be close to people. It's just be careful. It's look at others with the best intentions, but listen to your gut instincts. Always do that. And then make a thankful attitude a habit every day. When you meet strangers, so a simple smile is amazing. I mean, it's amazing what a smile will do. And I was so, when we had the COVID, and still to this day with everybody that's still wearing masks, and I understand some people have got health concerns. Other people, most of them are just weird. Is that I miss seeing stranger smiles, is walking to the store, walking through the parking lot. And we live in an area, you go an hour and a half away, and a lot of people won't even make eye contact with you. But thank God we live in a small town where strangers still greet each other with a smile. And that's all over the world. You still get a smile out of people. It just, the percentage goes down when you get into different areas. And then be thankful for everyone around you. Even those that are terrible to you, believe it or not, be thankful, because they've taught you something in life. They've taken you to a new level. They've made you realize new things. I wish my enemies no bad luck. is that they got their own karma coming, and I don't worry about it. As I get it out of my life, I don't want horrible things to happen to them. Is that all I want to do is live my life with like-minded people, and I just want to take and be happy, and others around me to be happy, successful, and living the dream that they've built. That's really powerful. It's very valuable, is when you can have that kind of attitude, and you just don't take, and I don't have ill feelings for anybody. There's people in this world that I don't care for much and I don't want to be around, but I don't have the mental capacity. I don't have the mental space in my brain to even harbor any thoughts about them anymore. I mean, it's just not there. They're not a part of my life anymore. They're a part of my history, and I learned from them. And I'm so grateful that people have either brought goodness, which 99% of people in my life have brought goodness. And then that 1% brought maybe some horrible times into my life, but I learned from it. I learned from those horrible things. And for that reason, I'm thankful to them for teaching me something. And so I just move on. And so, it's every day is to some, and again, this podcast, I know it's to some, it's not your average we really, we're changing. The podcast is growing, we're evolving. We've got really good plans for it. But right now, messages like these are things that I know people struggle with. I myself have, and I've learned from. And so, I hope these messages get to those people that it really means something. And we love hearing from you when it does. It's confirmation that, we're doing the right thing. And we're not trying to grow this to where it's popular or super profitable, or we just want to make an impact on a few people's lives. And we keep doing that. As I was asked by somebody not too long ago, they said, there's a group of people in the industry that really, people like you that charge for training, for, taking and mentoring and coaching people. They named a bunch of other people, is that they don't like that they charge. They think you should give it away. This is our giveaway. This is our way. I don't know what podcast is this, Chris? What number?
170.
So times on average about 3 hours. No, more than that. Probably 4 to 5 hours per podcast between Chris and I. So do that number, and it will tell you how involved we are and grateful we are to have an opportunity to impact people in a positive way. And so with that, Chris, anything to add to it? Any good comments? I didn't get to say hi to anybody.
Oh man, I think you covered it pretty good. But Jason Bruno jumped in about dogs. He said that dogs are just a part of our lives, but we are everything in theirs, and that his dogs save him every day.
Man, isn't that the truth? So, Jason, I'm not sure if you saw my live message the other day. I had two. I did one to the Mafia. That one's private, but the first one I was live on PNS, and my horse Rip was right behind me, and he wasn't messing with me. He had just taken off with my hat. I had to go get my hat back because he grabbed it and took off running. But then when I came back on and I did a message to the Mafia, is that he was standing right next to me and he was kissing me on the neck, and it's that contact. And brother, even more than I do, is what you've experienced in your first career, so to say. How important it is to have these discussions. And I think a lot of young people, I think that they don't realize that what's coming if they don't keep themselves healthy. And so this is something this isn't just medicine for those that may be broke. None of us are broke. We're not broke. There's not a person in life that's broke. Nothing's wrong with you. You've just got some outlooks and maybe some things that you've got to get out and improve on. That's it. Nobody's broke. I don't believe there's broke people.
That ties into a comment that Ian Ramelkamp made back when we were talking about ADHD stuff. He says, ADHD and dyslexia are markers of creativity. People with these problems make connections between disconnected concepts that normal people don't. It's a gift.
Oh, man. Ian, thank you. Chris, send that to me. We got to put that. I'm going to put that up and give Ian credit. That's incredible. I've never looked at it like that. See, here it is. is that, you know, Ian, I think I'm at least 20 years older than you, you know, is everybody learns from everybody. Is that it's not the old and wise that teach the young. It's the old and wise that mentor the young, and it's the young that influence the older. You know, is that I can always be influenced by knowledge, faith, and goodwill. As simple as that. I love it. I just absolutely eat it up. So, well, with that, I think we've wrapped it up. I want to thank you guys again. Chris, thanks for it's kind of cool to do it on my birthday. I don't think we've ever done that before, you know, and so
it just happened to fall that way.
Just happened to fall that way. So it's kind of cool to do, you know, a podcast on the birthday, and especially on this topic that was not planned. You know, I didn't even really think about it when we made the schedule.
No, we put this on the schedule weeks ago.
Yeah.
It just how it happens.
Just how it happens. And what a cool one. And so, you know, I might get a little raw. Some people might not like that. You know, I open it up and talk. I don't care. I mean, if you don't like it, I'm sorry. It's not about you. It's about everybody else. You know, is that all the haters and everything else come into it. I don't concentrate on that. I concentrate on the people that are getting something out of this.
Yep.
Now there is.
What do we get here?
Oh, I was Kimberly. She made a great comment. I've been killing myself trying to be perfect in my auto detailing business, but Renny told me in our class in Big Bear, you hate the perfect guy. I have been teaching myself not to go overboard. Yeah, you know, you can't. You're never going to be.
There it is.
You know, you're just going to take and absolutely drive yourself. I mean, that's such a great outlook on it. You know, and you know the OCD kicks in. You know, and the perfection kicks in, and you know, all these things. It's pretty incredible. But thanks for the comment. So I wish I had time to go through all of them. I mean, it's just
had a nice one from Josh. It says, happy birthday to the Godfather. You've touched so many of our lives with your leadership and friendship. We all love you for giving all you have to make our lives better and more successful.
Josh, thank you, man. Well, see, that's going to get me my eyes are going to start sweating. You know, it's
and even Gordon jumped on and joined us today. Said happy birthday.
Oh, thanks, man. Right on. Look at so many great people. You know,
there's a lot of those in here.
Yeah, so many great people. Thank you all so much. You know, and again, I just, you know, I want to tell you, thank you all for making my life great. It's just I can't imagine, you know, being the kid on my bicycle over there, you know, starting out with so little, that at this age I'd be where I'm at, and it's because of all you. And I'm forever grateful. So thank you all. I'm going to get emotional. And I do appreciate you guys helping to build my career up, because without all of you, I'm not me. And I realize that. And I'm so thankful for every single person in my life, even the people I've yet to meet that are just friendly and good people. I just really appreciate you. Use your heart, guys. You know, there's a lot of tough men and women out there in business. And sometimes the toughness has got to be hidden and the softness has got to come out. So you guys take care, and happy detailing. Go out and make something shine today. Again, go out, try some Swift. You're going to love it on the interior. And then try some Defender, and you got to get some of the scents. And those that are into vinyl and clear bra, go out and check out Triple S. All right, guys.
Yeah, I gotta track my shipment. I think it's coming today. I ordered some.
There you go. All right, guys. Hey, have a good one all, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Have a great rest of the week. Enjoy the weekend ahead. We'll see you.
Thanks for listening to the Renny Doyle podcast, brought to you by Detailing Success and PNS Double Black. Listen to new episodes weekly, and be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And don't forget to share with your friends and colleagues.